You don't hate stuff. You hate what stuff does to your mind. You look at a cluttered shelf and you don't just see objects. You see unfinished decisions, unanswered questions, unclosed loops. That book you might read, that cable you might need, that paper you haven't sorted, that thing you should probably throw away. Each item is quiet, but together they hum, and the hum is exhausting. Other people walk into the same room and feel nothing. You walk in and your brain lights up, not because you're obsessive, because your system doesn't treat clutter as background. It treats it as active input. Every object is a micro-decision. Most people see a stack of items. You see a queue. Do I keep this? Does this belong somewhere else? Am I using this? Why haven't I dealt with this? Your brain tags each object as unresolved. Even if you don't consciously answer the questions, the tags remain. Open loop. And open loops cost bandwidth. You don't feel it as panic. You feel it as subtle cognitive drag, like too many browser tabs running in the background. Individually small, collectively draining. Visual noise equals mental noise. Some people can filter their environment effortlessly. Clutter fades into blur. For you, it doesn't blur. It registers. The uneven stack, the misaligned frame, the pile that should be handled. Your working memory keeps a soft index of your surroundings, where things are, what's pending, what's out of place. So when your space is chaotic, your internal index is overloaded. You're not trying to be aesthetic. You're trying to reduce active processing. Because for you, clutter isn't passive, it's computational. If it's just stuff, why does clearing it feel like relief? Why does a clean desk feel like mental silence? You experience objects as questions. Here's what others don't understand. A minimal space doesn't feel empty to you. It feels resolved. Each object either has a clear function or it doesn't. No ambiguity, no silent negotiation. When something has no defined place, your brain keeps reopening the file. Where does this go? Why is this here? Am I postponing something? You don't crave minimalism for control. You crave it for closure, because closure frees cognitive bandwidth, and bandwidth is precious to you. You protect your working memory aggressively. You think in layers. You model outcomes. You simulate conversations. You hold abstract systems in your head. That requires clean RAM. So when your physical environment floods you with micro-prompts, it competes with deeper thinking. You can feel the interference. It's harder to focus, harder to enter flow, harder to sustain clarity. So you clear surfaces. You reduce inventory. You simplify choices, not to impress anyone, to optimize your cognitive load. You're not decluttering, you're optimizing cognitive load. You were never too particular. You were protecting your mental processing power. Decision fatigue hits you earlier than others. Some people don't notice low-grade decision fatigue. They accumulate small choices all day and barely register the toll. You do. What to wear, what to answer first, what to move, what to ignore. Add visual clutter to that. Your system starts flashing subtle warnings. Too many open loop, too many pending evaluations. So you reduce variable. Fewer clothes, fewer tools, fewer visible distractions. Because every eliminated decision is reclaimed energy, and you'd rather spend that energy on thinking, not sorting. You associate excess with obligation. This is the layer you rarely articulate. The more you own, the more you feel responsible to maintain it, to justify it, to store it, to remember it. Objects aren't neutral to you. They imply upkeep. They imply future attention, and future attention is a cost. So when you release something unnecessary, you don't just free space, you remove a future demand. For others, clutter is background noise. For you, clutter is active processing. It's not sitting there quietly, it's whispering. So what happens when your space is finally clear? What changes internally? Minimalism gives you strategic silence. When your environment is simple, your mind stretches. There's less to filter, less to suppress, less to track, and suddenly your thoughts move farther, cleaner. You enter depth faster because nothing is tugging at your peripheral awareness. That's the real reward, not aesthetic purity, cognitive expansion. You're not chasing empty rooms, you're chasing uninterrupted bandwidth. You don't want less, You want leverage. Slow this down. This isn't about owning nothing. It's about owning deliberately. Each object either earns its place or it exits the system because your mind is already high capacity, high simulation, high pattern recognition, high modeling. You cannot afford environmental friction. Most people tolerate clutter because it stays in the background. For you, it never does. It stays online, processing, and you instinctively know something powerful. If you control your inputs, you control your clarity. So when you crave minimalism, you're not rejecting material things. You're conserving cognitive bandwidth. The real question isn't, why do I need things so clean? It's this: how much sharper would your thinking become if nothing in your environment was quietly asking for your attention anymore?